Hey everybody, ArtBerserk coming to you from Craig Anderson Studio, and I'm getting my paint kit set up for a motovlog today on the little old Ripper, is what I call the old Honda. So yeah, I made it. Today's officially my 54th birthday, and I don't have to work today. It's a Friday, and I'm really happy to be able to head out into the world and try to do a combination, like I said, plein air painting mission with motovlogging experience. I haven't actually combined the two yet. So I'm just getting set up, getting things together. I'm gonna have to get my gear on and see if I can fit everything into the bike before I get outside, and helmet, mic, all that. So here we go. I'm gonna have some fun today. Gonna make a video about it, so come along with me for the ride. ArtBerserk out. Everybody, ArtBerserk here, just getting you a little pre-game warm-up. I got everything packed up, my oil painting kit, the motorcycle, got the cameras, had to remount both of those, and got my mics ready. So I'm going to get suited up and get ready to go. Just wanted to show you the extra 40 to 50 pound bag that'll be on my back. We'll see how this little Ripper chugs with the one cylinder and 7 horsepower at altitude. ArtBerserk saying, let's do this. Hey, good morning, everybody. ArtBerserk here, getting ready to take you on my A.C.E. adventure number 3. That's the ArtBerserk Creative Expedition. I think we're going to head up to Bingham Hill today and try to find some area to plein air paint. So I got to turn my fuel pack cock on, put my choke on, see if we can get this baby to kickstart. And I got my backpack on, so my weight balance is different. I love it when it kicks on one start, y'all. That's the goodness right there. We're gonna let her warm up just a little bit. I'm getting some adjustments on my 360 camera. Maybe that's a little better as well. Pardon my little clear in my throat there. Hey everybody, it's ArtBerserk here, getting ready to take you on my ACE ride number 3. That's the ArtBerserk Creative Expedition. I have a plein air painting kit on my back, probably at least 40 extra pounds in a backpack. Got enough gas, the bike's running, the 1982 Honda XL 100S with just under 2,000 miles on the OD. Here we go. We're gonna head to Bingham Hill, I believe is what's happening. Representing Craig Anderson Studio today for this adventure. It's August 21st, 2026. It's officially my 54th birthday. I don't have to work today. I get to go do my own thing. And this bike takes a little while to get warmed up. She kicked on the first start, but I'm just kind of giving her a minute to get a little warmth in the cylinder head. All right, here we go. It almost seems like my backpack is heavier than the motorcycle, which is kind of funny. I can definitely feel the weight on my back, and I'm trying to have a little ventilation in the helmet and see if we still have enough clarity with some air moving. Oh, it looks like there's a big birds flying around. I'm going to be taking the back roads today, which is the similar route that I've driven before, mainly because I'm on the smaller bike with a lot less power, and I have an extra close to 50 pounds on my back. So, you know, this old Honda, if I'm, for me, not having any extra load, I can get it up to pretty close to 50 miles per hour, going downhill with not a lot of wind. And, you know, right now we're pulling, as you can see, about 30 uphill. And it's doing pretty good, though. It's pulling. And I gotta say, if the wind noise isn't too great, having some air moving through the helmet feels really nice, because it's getting kind of warm already. And so this is really my first experiment with having these larger windscreens on the microphones. I'm just going to pull in here real quick and make sure that my Roy Orbison mic is still on the back of the bike here, because I'm trying a magnetic attachment for the first time. Oh, there you go, girl. She didn't like coming in there. Apparently, she's not warmed up enough yet. Yeah, my microphone's looking good back there. All right. That's the main thing I wanted to know. All right, let's hit the road. All right, rock and roll. I think things are looking good for this fairly short journey, where I'm going to be heading on the north edge of Fort Collins over into the town of LaPorte. And we're gonna basically kind of zip through LaPorte and head to Bingham Hill, which is a pretty nice, like, bicycle route that a lot of people take. And I'm having some strange wind noise up here. Not sure where that's coming from. Try to keep that from happening. Kind of weird. I hear like a rattling on my helmet. I'm not sure what it is. Hopefully that doesn't pick up on the microphone too much, because that could be quite annoying. It almost feels like it's a pad or something on the inside of the helmet, at any rate. Hopefully we're good to go here. You know, this is the first time I've taken the little bike with a full load on a painting mission. So I'm trying to keep it fairly close to home and not too far of a trip. I filled the tank up with gas the other day. So here's the new Larimer Sheriff's Center here. They've got a whole thing going on. Like a helicopter and all that. They must be doing some training today. Alright, for having all this weight, it's ripping pretty good here. We're almost pulling 45 uphill, but the hill's going to get a lot bigger. I basically have it on full throttle right now though, so at altitude I think I'm using around maybe 7 horsepower on a single cylinder. I forget what the torque is on here, but I mean, you know, it's not a whole lot. Might be the first time I have to downshift with all this weight, but we'll see if I can pull it. No, she's doing good. What up, one cylinder pony? This is going to be the part that's fun up here, is crossing 287, but it's probably not super busy just yet. It wasn't too bad. You know, we're basically getting pretty close to being there. Pretty close. Tell you what, my shoulders are kind of getting sore from this backpack though, so I think short rides are good. You know, I was originally thinking about going to Watson Lake because the Bellevue Dome is viewable from there, but it's basically going to be in the shadows right now. So I think that's probably best in the evening golden hour, if you will. And so I'm going to head instead to Bingham Hill, where the sun will be at my back for a little while. And even though it's pre-noon time, I'm hoping that I'll be able to get some decent color and some steady light for, you know, an hour, something like that. So I'm really thankful to be able to have a day for some personal adventure and artwork. It's really beautiful right now, and school's officially started, but in a strange turn of events, I only have one physical class this year, which gives me about as much time as I can get to be able to work on paintings and modifications to my studio for the upcoming Fort Collins studio tour here in October. It's around October 24th, I believe. And I'm really excited because I've been wanting to do this for about 5 years, but it'll be my first year of actually being on the tour, and I hope to have it be the first of many years of being on the tour annually. And then also basically having my studio open by appointment, like whenever is going to be the idea. Come by and check out what I got going on and have some fun, have some food and drink, listen to some music, check out some art, make some art if you want to, make some music if you want to. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff going on. Just bringing it all together for the first time in a long time. So we're getting close, coming up on the turn for Bingham Hill, which is basically on the way to the Horsetooth Reservoir. All right. See if we can get this wrapped up a little bit. This area here is a high population deer area, especially at dawn and dusk. So I'm keeping my eyes open, but normally when it's starting to get warmer like this and sunny, things are pretty mellow. What's up, dudes? Fence building dudes. Yeah, this is a gorgeous ride though. I'm probably gonna have to downshift again, but I did get my speed up going downhill there. But I know it dogs on this last part of the hill, and I've got the extra 50-pound satchel. But dang, we're getting close, y'all. I'm gonna have to slow down at the top of the hill to turn anyways, so it's gonna be about perfect. Just winding down here at near. There's a little downy shifty. Alright, coming up here on our exit left. What up, Bingham Hill? Sunrise to sunset, day use only. Trying to find my newt. There we go. All right, everybody. We made it. So basically what I'm going to do now is shut the bike down, take care of business, and get out here and paint. All right. This is good stuff. I'm just gonna let the bike cool down for a minute though. And then I'll save some battery on the cameras. All right, till we meet again. So far the birthday plein air mission is a success. I'm gonna head this way. We're gonna check out some Bingham Hill action. I got my backpack. It's pretty hot with my motorcycle pants and stuff on, but I'm thinking I might paint something over yonder and give you kind of a view of what the hike looks like here. It's a really short hike, so you can see the sun's at my back. Good time to have some reflective clothing on and a hat. I got just enough water to make it through this paint session, and I'm letting you know that I've been to this spot many times, you know, over my life and in terms of when I've lived in Fort Collins in this area. However, I've never actually made a painting here. I've taken lots of photographs, and I've played music up here, and I have friends that are artists that have painted. Hey, here's a wild mountain poppy it's a little bit older, but it's beautiful because they're white. It's always fun to see one of those up here. There's part of the Bellevue Rocks over there. A little information about Bingham Hill with the signage. And this is the view. It's still green down there, you know, due to the irrigation. But I'm thinking that I might sit down right here and look out this way. This seems pretty sweet, actually. So I think what I'm gonna do is get set up here and then give you an update. It's just fairly funny that I basically got everything set up, and then I was ready to set up my extra iPhone camera to record the long session of the paint, and I forgot it in the motorcycle. So I had to hike back down, grab it. There's my tripod stuff as well. And then my whole intent was to show you what I had set up here, and I'm basically coming up on it, so I'll catch you up on that in just a second. Getting close to being ready to paint here, but I figured I'd record a little bit of my setup and talk for a couple minutes about what I'm thinking. I'm basically having the light change really fast on this mountainy area over here. Unfortunately, I lost most of the shadows on it already. So that's what I was attracted to initially. There's a ridge line over there with some cool stuff going on. And I've got my rubber gloves that I'm not quite ready for yet. I'm gonna go ahead and get out my gloves. And start drawing this thing out. Got my paints ready to go. All right. So this is pretty much the setup. Give you a little overview here. And then I think I'm gonna be looking over here at this area. You can see the shadows are changing, but they look pretty cool. So I'm gonna try to get this set up so you can see what I'm looking at. Right, I'm just gonna try to give a quick capture of what I'm looking to find here. So I'm really intrigued by this area. So I think I'm gonna try to capture this about like here. And then that comes up, it chunks up even more. It's a pretty nice rocky expanse there. All right, so I got something like that. Got a hill coming down. Got the tops of this coming down here. A couple little mountain things up there. And then about here, we got other mountains back there. And then what's crazy is this one with a little, almost like tree line. It comes up here. And then basically, there's like actually a couple little ranges in there, but it's really hard to tell what they're doing. All right, there's actually a house up there, but at least it blends in pretty well. And we've got our trees down here. I'm glad we're going to be getting into some greenery on these trees down in this very bottom area. I think I might catch a little bit of this rocky face over here. Yeah, and then that's basically like green down there. All right, let's start painting this thing. I think that's what's going on. So I'm gonna lay out my palette next. Looks like I got yellow and blue and green. Obviously blue for the sky. I always leave space for a decent amount of white. So I'm going to start out by putting some white on the back of my palette here. Stretch it across. And then I'm going to go for some this is cerulean blue hue, which means it's not actual toxic cerulean, but it's looking good. I'm using some Winsor & Newton artisan water mixable oil colors here. I've got other ones, I think Talons as well. This is some burnt sienna I'm going to put over here. It's kind of that dark brown. I've got some cadmium orange hue. I'm going to saddle up next to the umber. And then I got some phthalo green. I'm going to rock out over here. Way too much, but I didn't mean to slob that much on there. Got our lemon yellow. I'm gonna put some of that up here. And then last but not least, I'm going to go for a little bit lighter sap green over here. And if I have any CAD, yellow, I have luminous yellow. That stuff's a trip. I don't think I'm going to rock that out just yet. I might go ahead and stick with what I got here. So that's a decent amount of options to get started. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is put some blue on the screen, is what I like to say. So I'm going to get started by marking this white down into the field of my palette, because I want to do this when my brush is clean. I'm going to be using a lot of this. So, and then adjacent, I'm going to get started over here with my blue dip. See if I can get somewhere pretty close. It's actually looking pretty nice. Cerulean sky. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just give a little mist on the canvas here. Sometimes I'll do this to knock the graphite in just a little bit and get the surface wet, and then bring my blue up for the sky and just kind of pull it down, because I like to think about, with the atmospheric perspective, the graying of the atmosphere that happens the farther back you get from your source. I think that there's a little bit of blue everywhere. Kind of, you know, there's atmosphere going over everything. So if you what up, motorcycler? Somebody else is having fun out there today. And I'll probably come back into the sky later, little bits and pieces, but I just wanted to try to get some nice variation in here, because it's a real pretty kind of like floaty sky day up there. So I'm trying to just add some light and dark variations, maybe a couple more wispy spots. Might look like a contrail over there. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Go ahead and get my brush washed out there. Now I think I'm gonna try to scope some of this green down on the lower part of the painting, because it's actually really bright, and I'm just kind of curious to see if I can hit this mark, because it's actually got some of this yellow in it. It's a pretty nice turbo green down there. I'm gonna be trying to lay this in down in this area. We've got it like, I'll just go ahead and paint this stuff out, because these are going to be trees and whatnot as well. So go ahead and get this stuff filled in with the turbo green. It's looking pretty nice. I'll have some variation in here as well later, but I call this well, other people do as well, the local color. It's like the main color, the underlying color, or, you know, color family, if you will. So I'm going to go a little bit darker, because I've got more trees, but they actually are going to have a little bit of warmth to them and a little bit of gray. It's looking more like a little more smoky. So I'm going to come in here, just start to scrub where all of the darker trees kind of exist down here. So I'm just going to fill this space up so the white isn't poking through. Just trying to get rid of the little white squares of the canvas. And again, we're thinking local color, what comes in beneath everything. I don't have any shadows in the trees yet, but I'm gonna keep moving on. I think I'm gonna start to get into kind of a greenish, reddish green up here. So I'm gonna grab some of this orange. I feel like this exists underneath, so I'm going to go ahead and paint what I would consider the sand underneath the hill in a way, or underneath the scrub brush up there. It's got some like warmish pink kind of hues. That's looking pretty good. I actually see even a little bit more of that. It's a little bit warmer up here on this face, which is pretty nice. Kind of like shoots across there. All right. Now we got like some nice green, yellowish green up here on top of the rocky area. So I'm just going to go ahead and start to put some of that in there. This is kind of like where the light's hitting right now, up on this spot. It's looking pretty nice. Just going to go ahead and try to pull this down into that kind of coral colored area. Kind of get this expanse to come across here. Just trying to fill this stuff up, you know, as quickly as possible, because the light's changing by the minutes. My family, my artist fam. Pull some of this brown in over here. Getting up to like the top of this structure. I actually see some. Oh, hey, I don't have my paper towels out. There we go. That's very important. All right, I feel like there's just like a little bit of this stuff up here. So I'll throw that in there. And we're gonna grab some more of this darker green, brown. Just gonna like come up here on top. Start to fill in some of this. There we go. And I'm gonna try to get this dark umber, cool blue on these rocks up here, because this is really fabulous. It's like really dark. We'll pull some blue in here. That looks wonderful. I'm gonna go ahead and get started in some areas with this, because that's really where the contrast is here. It's in that rocky part. It's pretty sweet. All right, now I'm gonna try to add a little more of the green blue to this, just because it's actually, there's some areas that are kind of cool in there. Some little things that like cut across. starting to have some water drip out of my gloves, which is always a good sign. So now I'm going to try to grab a little more of these brighter, warmer colors, which would be like more in the orange, a little bit grayed out orange family. I'm seeing like there's like chunks of light that are popping through here. And it's kind of like there's structure, but I think there's also room to have some expression in how this is put together. So I'll be coming back and putting some more dark areas in there in a minute as well. But I think that this is getting closer to what I was thinking here. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a little more green, bring it into this umber so we can get some really nice dark shadows coming back in. Yeah, this is looking pretty good in terms of the chunky contrast. It's definitely the kind of stuff I was looking for. There's just some really nice shapes up here. And then some of this stuff is like a little more gray-green. Just throw some warmth in there occasionally as well, perhaps. Just heard the old trash truck go by there. Actually see some more like, I don't know, some real light areas popping through here. They're just like really small parts. All right. I think I'll let this sit in a minute, but let me grab some more. I feel like there's maybe a couple more dark pockets in there that are kind of the umber persuasion. Stuff like that. And then maybe a little bit more of this dark. Dark spots in here. All right. Now I'm just gonna let that sit for a minute and try to dial in some of these other spots that are like, they're just kind of like gray brown in the background. A little more blue. There we go. Thinking about this stuff back here is trying to get these mountains in because they're more grayed down, and so I'm trying to get a tone in the background to get rid of the rest of this white. And then I'll do some other variation after I get this dialed in here. Just getting the basics covered. And then it's similar, but maybe maybe a little bit darker over here. Just behind all this stuff. And then there's this one little peak back here that's like pretty blue. I'm going to try to nail this one because I'm intrigued by how it's kind of a brown, but it really recedes back there. So I'm just kind of taking colors that already exist on the palette and trying to just flavor it. Ooh, there we go. I think that's it right there. Just trying to flavor it. You want to season it properly, all right? Isn't that funny? But yeah, this is just like a little grayed out peak back there. That looks so nice. All right. I'm gonna have to go back and do some more sky work here, actually. This is gonna be fun. I see a little bit more of this atmosphere. And I'm probably gonna have to add some more blue-gray, but like, this is pretty nice how there's a lot more variation back there, but I'm wondering if I can just kind of go over this with like a bit more of a blue-gray. Push that back a little bit. Yeah, I think that's gonna help. And I think this as well. I'm gonna push back with the same type of situation. Just lighten that up a little bit. There we go. Right. So now it's time to start to work in the foreground area a little bit more. I'm going to try to put some of these darker tree shadows in here in the foreground. Little bits of shadow, and some of them might need to be a little bit warmer. I'll probably soften these up a little bit in a minute. Okay. There's also some little bits of slightly darker green in the field back here, which get this to work. It's like kind of down low. Get a little bit darker. It's like some trees back here. There's actually quite a few in here too. This is all like darker. It's not quite the turbo green. So I'm going to start getting rid of a little bit of that super turbo green by just blotting it down a little bit. I think that's going to actually help. It's nice to have as kind of an underlayment. And this might be the perfect color to start putting the scrub brush over this pink, or the sandy colored stuff here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of keep Keep filling that in a little bit. Alright. It's starting to come together. I'm going to take my soft brush and just kind of blend this. It's pretty much dry. Just kind of going over some of this stuff in the bottom and tapping it a little bit too to see if I can soften these things up and blend them in a little bit, because it's really the stuff up top that I'm really excited about. Alright, I'm going to add a little bit more to this slope here. Got kind of a nice yellowish green, warm yellowish green. Kind of I think I need a little more yellow. Yeah, it's weird how it actually has like almost like a little orange yellow in there. Right, and then over on this side, there's like a little more of this light orangey orange. Like some interesting kind of like green, kind of a bright green back here. Let's see if I can pull some of this in. It's almost like right there. Trees. Let's see if we can get some darker tree action. I find this real intriguing little spot where there's like a little bitty edge of a tree where there's shadow, and then there's like a little spot down here that's like where the shadow hits the ground. It goes right into the trunk there. That's kind of cool. See a couple little areas like that in the foreground where it's actually just like a little bit darker in there. That helps to balance out how dark it is in the hilly area. I think down here too. There's a little bit of yellow-green in these tops occasionally as well. I gotta get these little mini scrub brush things going. They're just like little bitty dots everywhere, but it's almost like they're darker than I'm giving them credit for. That dark, but let's see here. feel like I need to dry brush a little bit of this stuff in as well. Soften it up a little bit. Now, there's probably quite a bit more variation. It's like my palette's starting to get a little bit dry, but there's some cool stuff that I'd like to try to capture. Let's see if I can get this. Like on this hilltop back here. It's like some little bitty tree chunks and stuff like that. And I might be so inspired to do something up here as well. So many interesting little areas up there. Now if I can tie that together a little bit, that would be good. Might grab a little more umber here. Here we go. A little burnt umber. And I might get some of this luminous yellow out just for kicks. I'm not sure if that's gonna destroy or help, but let's see. Let's see if I can do anything there. Oh, I need some more white as well. Probably too much, but that's okay. Better to have some than... Hey, what up, bird? Wow, that was a trip. Alright. So I've got this kind of a bluish umber going on here. This is pretty nice looking. Try to bring it into some of these areas that are super dark. Yeah, there's such amazing shapes coming off of here in terms of the shadows. I'm happy that I at least am catching some of these, at least partially, because it's pretty fun to see all of this stuff happening and changing before my eyes. I think that might be about it for the rock area, the main part of the rock area, but I need to amend some of this spot up here because it's actually catching a lot more light right now. It's really gorgeous. And then what I would consider the greens down here are getting quite a bit darker. It's kind of a warm, man, it looks almost like this. Kind of a gray-green. Let's see what that is. It's almost like a sage kind of green. It's looking pretty nice though. I kind of like that. And get some slightly darker areas down here. Kind of moving these grays and greens around a little bit up there, and then I'm going to come back with just a touch of this. I was trying to get some more of like a yellowish. Actually, yeah, I think that might be it right there. I'm going to streak this down a little bit. That. All right. Now, like little bits and pieces in the background here would be nice. There's just like little variations. I need some areas that are maybe perhaps a little bit darker. So let's see if I can do some of this. Basically trying to subdue some of the work that I did a little bit earlier back there. I'm trying to cool that off a little bit again. Because it does kind of start to disappear in there. I see that there are a couple trees. Right down here, which might help. Break that up a little bit. And I still see some of these little bitty like trees up here. Maybe I can make that happen a little bit more. All right, what else? See like a little building peeking through down here that's kind of cool. It's actually pretty bright. It's like right down here. And then got some more orange peeking through down here, which is pretty nice. Kind of a little bit of a hot spot here. Ooh, and I see some kind of yellowish gold color up here. It's almost like it almost looks like the sky's shifted a little bit. You know, I'm pretty much about to where the light's been changing enough on me that I'm probably going to have to call this pretty soon in terms of the painting being applicable. There's like some deeper blues and stuff up here now, that's for sure, but see some like different types of blue things going on up here. So I have an event coming up where today there's a kind of a motorcycle fundraiser at the Yamaha dealer, and I'm looking forward to checking that out pretty soon. That's kind of up on my plate next. Well, I'm a little unsatisfied with some of this middle ground area. So I'm trying to add like a little more of these scrub brush things. Seems like it's getting a little bit dark on me, so I'm going to try to just kind of scoot around here. Soften a couple things up around here, maybe. I think I can actually just do a little touch in here. It almost seems like I could add some more of like these yellowish grays in this area. It might help a little bit. And then perhaps just like a little bit of a last, if I can find some suitable green down here. Try to throw some of this like, well, could we say like horizontal banding, kind of like the grass might make happen down here. And then I've got a couple of those tree shadows. I lost my little tree shadow down here that I was excited about. Just a little more darks down in here. Anything else? I mean, we could pick at this forever, but I think what I'm going to say is that this is done for now. My birthday painting. I will give you a little tour here. Thanks for watching me make this. It's been a lot of fun. Here, I just go ahead and film the cleanup, which is usually kind of arduous, but fairly quick. So this painting turned out pretty colorful. I did a lot of talking, but it's one of those things where it seems like when you get the painting done, it's hard to process what you did until you get home and check it out later. That's just kind of one of the things I think about. So I just try to get my brushes and stuff, like, I don't worry about it too much, but I just try to get everything back together because the majority of the cleanup that I do happens, once I'm back in the studio. There's just lots of little steps, and the sun is really starting to come out and get hot, so I think that this basically worked out about perfectly. Then for my palette here, I have a lot of extra paint, so I'm going to basically just try to smash this off here. I'll clean the rest of this up later, but I just want to be able to get this back. And then I'm actually going to put this in my gloves, so I'll get my painting stashed first. But here we go for that part of the journey. Painting getting put away. This painting plein air box is built by Peg and All. They're, I believe, well, they're in the East Coast. I'm not quite sure which state they're in now, but I really love painting with this because it's really sturdy. You know, it's a heavy unit in general, but I got this specifically for oil painting, and it works out great for that. All right, so here's my sweaty gloves coming off. I'm going to actually put these in my water container. Nasty water container. Nasty, nasty stuff. Just horrible. I'm kidding. All right. This is basically a photography monopod bottom that I use for this, and then I have a nice tripod head that's really heavy duty that has micro adjustments, and that's the head that I'm actually using. It's a Manfrotto 410 by Bogan. It's probably a different name now because it's really old. I got that back when I was in grad school or something like that for shooting my slides. If you all remember what slides are. All right. So some of this stuff I can already get packing. Like my oil paints. They go down here. They're doing good. I'll go ahead and get my secondary stuff in there. Got to catch up on that water, folks. It's getting to be a thing. All right, what I'm doing next though is trying to get my tarp in the mix here. That's what I got to get going next, because everything else goes on top of the tarp. I would say that in general, I'm really happy with how this paint mission went today. Of course, I got to get home in one piece on the old motorbike, but I think the trip home might actually be a little easier than the trip out here. All right. Got like a little strategic methodology for fitting everything back in here. It's got to go in just the right way, or it don't quite work out. Look at this. All of this stuff goes back in here. Now I'm even going to put the phone. I'm going to decommission this phone and put the selfie stick into the side compartment here. So that's basically it. I'm going to head back down. All right, everybody, I'm cleaned up. I got the mountainous area over there painted behind me. Pretty stoked to check it out when I get back in the studio. Just give you a little panorama. Bingham Hill, I was the only person up here the whole time. Doesn't get any better than that. I mean, it'd be nice for someone to come by and say, oh, hey, I'll pay you $500 for that painting right now. And I'd have to deal with that, figuring out what to do. But otherwise, Bingham Hill on my birthday. Thank you for hosting me for a wonderful plein air event with my growing YouTube audience. This is all I can hope for. If you're enjoying these videos, please click the subscribe button, because I'm just getting started and there's going to be a lot more on the way. So I'm about to the motorcycle and I will give you an update as I get over there and get ready to rock. All right, everybody, so apparently my 360 camera is full or something like that. So I'm just going to record with my helmet mic on the way back. It's really hot. So I'm just going to get going. Say bye, Bingham Hill. Let's get on the road. That air feels good coming through my shirt and pants. I was getting really hot out there. Get her warmed up. There's the old deer crossing sign that I was telling you about earlier. Well, after I get back home, if I can make a pretty quick switch over, I'm gonna head to this charity barbecue and try to test drive a couple of Yamahas or Indians or maybe Husqvarnas. I'm not sure all of the bikes that they have at that dealer. But it only goes on till 2 o'clock and I think it's about 11, so I'll have to do a pretty quick turnover. Which is awesome. What a fun day. I'm really stoked to have gotten my first plein air motovlog taken care of on my birthday. And I'm really happy that it's working out. What a nice day for this. It's in the 80s, I would imagine now, if not getting close to the 90s, but no complaints. It feels wonderful, and I like being able to take the back roads, you know, like through the small town on the way home. What up, LaForge? lady's on her cell phone. Don't got time for that. I got a motorcycle charity ride to be at. Let's do this. I might have to fast forward that little Laporte section there. That was almost painful. I call this the buzz bomb when we get going about 40. The little ripper feels pretty good. I can feel the bounces a lot more with this backpack on though. Maxing out the suspension. Good thing it's not a hard tail. I'm pretty sure that this painting that I got done, since I got my kit last year on my birthday, I got that painting kit basically a year ago. When I started oil painting again, it had been, I think, almost 14 years since I'd oil painted. And so I'm really enjoying it, especially the water-based oils. And anyways, I think that is my 8th painting that I've completed. I had like a really crazy semester of school last semester. And this one is a little bit more mellow, and I had time over the summer, dedicated time to make more paintings. So I'm pretty sure I've got a still life and 7 plein airs, and I'd like to get a few more before the season's done, and then maybe try to transfer that into something between 1 and 3 larger scale plein airs that maybe I'd take the truck out to the spot to paint. All right, here we go. The downhill. Going 50, so that's doing pretty good with this beast. The little plein air ripper for local trips. We could go off-roading with this thing, but I'd probably have to decrease the weight in my backpack so that it just wasn't quite as heavy. I think I could fall off of this thing if I got on a hill on the wrong side. Yeah, they got quite an event going today. Look at that. I feel like an airplane coming in after that, the downshifts. Can I get this? Yep. This morning was not a slob. Drank all the coffee I could fit in my lid, and I said, yo, it's time to get big. For ego's deflating me. Trying to be real, trying to make it my station, my point, everything, rocking the joint. So, that's what you call a little motovlog freestyle. Good eye, folks. Don't mention I've already had 3 rap careers. I'm kidding. There was no career in it. I've had 3 rap games, though. Trying to bust out. This is a celebration. It is my salutation. Twist the throttle like a space station. Blast off. Coming round the corner. Coming round the bend. Looking at a bright future. Surely gonna win. Talking. Twisting that rock. Talking about the throttle like it is my job. Put the lean in, yo. Put the lean in and twist the throttle. What's up? We're about getting home fresh, family. Freaking awesome. The final little twist right here. My little vroom vroom. Coming up on my main road. I can start beeping my horn. Let everyone know I'm back. You know what I'm saying? It's Craig's birthday and he's back on the scene. Driving past you full throttle. You know what I mean? Sup? Letting everybody know I'm back. All right. Man, coming up on it, fam. Made it back. Always like to do the little off-road on the way back into the shop. Studio. Craig Anderson Studio, here we are. Alright, everybody. What I call that is a successful mission because I got it in neutral. Bike didn't run out of gas. We made it back. So I just got to say, thanks for hitting me up on that plein air mission. There's going to be more to come, and I'll be keeping it rolling. Peace. If you got that ember, you can make the spark happen. Just remember that, y'all. Let's do it. Well, I made it to that motorcycle event, the barbecue charity thing. I got checked in, and it was cool. The way they were doing it was kind of like a group of 10 riders at a time, and I thought it was going to be a whole bunch of different brands, but it turned out it was only Indian motorcycles, and their bikes are all super huge. Like, I think the smallest one was like 1200 cc's or something like that. So I thought we were going to be able to ride like Yamahas and all sorts of stuff. I was looking forward to like trying out a Yamaha newer version of like the Honda, like a 250 or something like that. So it was a lot of fun. I didn't get on a ride, but they have the event going on tomorrow, and I can, make that happen if I choose to. But I was happy to at least get down there and report that the main thing that happened today was the plein air mission, and getting that thing done. We got it drying right here, and just kind of keeping at the birthday action.